Hi, my name is Kendall Wilbanks. I am a marketing social media major here at WKU, and I am in the BDAN 310 class with Professor Erickson, and this is my capstone or final project. So with that being said, just talking a little bit about the project itself, it was a little daunting going into it, but I've realized that I actually have picked up a lot this semester, and just going in there and getting to play around has made me feel a whole lot more comfortable for using this in a career-like setting. So I am appreciative of this opportunity and excited to share my findings. And it was nice to see that the results were accurate and correct. So we will get into that in a little bit. So then we're going to start with body fat percentage. The body fat data, and first we're going to install packages, load in that information. I've loaded in a couple times before. So then we're going to load in all of this information, and it's going to show us our data so we can actually read the Excel information or library. And this r_part.plot is going to allow us to make our decision tree later on. Then for the body read Excel, this is going to change the name to an object called body. That way it's not so overwhelming when you're looking in this. And so you can see this right here in the environment window. Then we're going to look at structured body, and this is going to show us that it imported correctly. As you can see right here, all of that information. Then we're going to get into our linear model, and that's going to be dictated by the abdomen, weight, wrist, and you can see that in the environment window over here. Then for the summary, this is going to show us our information as well in variables. And then we're going to load in our predictions, which we will then test with the RMSE underneath and compare that eventually to our decision tree model. So this is going to show us our prediction accuracy, and that was a 4.358. And then we're going to compare it now to our decision tree. So here we are, and we did ANOVA because this is numeric, because of the body fat percentage. Then we're going to do the plot, and this one's actually going to show us the decision tree and where it splits off and makes those predictions. Then we're going to again generate those predictions right there. Then we're going to test it and see how accurate it is compared to the LM. So it was a 4.39, which is a little bit higher than this one, so the lower the better, the more accurate. So our linear model did better in accuracy, but they were very close, just by a few 0 points off. So with that being said, we're going to now go into our lone results. And as I said in the other one, they were very close. We're going to clear these so it's not so overwhelming. And then we're going to do a similar process here. So for the library, we're going to load in this information. That way we know what we're reading from that Excel file. I'm going to load all of these in, and again, this is going to help us make that decision tree later, the r_part.plot. Load that in, then I read Excel, and this changes it to where it's called loans again, as we stated in the other one, shorter title. Then we're doing the structured loans, and this is showing us all the information so that we can make sure that it imported correctly. Then turning it into a factor, which will help us later because this is going to be a classification. So now we're in the process of making that logistic regression model, and it's going to be dictated by education, applicant income, and credit history, with credit history being the most important. The summary is going to show us more of that information coming through of our data. Now we're going to be loading in those predictions, which we'll be testing in a little bit. So those predictions, and then with this, since this is a classification problem, we're going to change it to the from the 0.5 to the yes and no status. So if it's below 0.5, it will be the no, and if it's above, it will be the yes. Got that loaded in. Then we're going to make a confusion matrix and test the accuracy. So with that being said, now we're going to get into our decision tree, and we're going to use the same predictors and to create this decision tree. Again, the education, applicant, income, and credit history. Then we're going to do our plots, and again, this is going to show the actual tree right here. You'll see that in our plots, and that will show us where the actual predictions are. Now we're going to generate those predictions here. And then we're going to make another confusion matrix to test it, the accuracy. And so in this matrix, we can see that the logistic regression did better at predicting the approvals versus the decision tree did better at predicting the denials. But overall, very close, just by a couple points off. So very good results. They were very similar in their accuracy overall. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this. I definitely did. I feel more confident in R, and I'm happy to have done this project. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you again. Bye.